Dean Martin was the king of cool. With a glass in one hand and a cigarette in the other, he glided through life with a signature nonchalance that made him the most relatable member of the Rat Pack. He was the man who made everything look easy, from knocking the Beatles off the top of the charts to commanding the silver screen. But behind the velvet voice and the lazy grin lay a man who spent his life running from his past, running from his feelings, and running from the very people who loved him most. In the royal time of Hollywood, we are pulling back the curtain on the quiet tragedy of Dino Crocetti. The kid from Steubenville. Born Dino Paul Crocetti in 1917 to Italian immigrants, Dean didn't even speak English until he started school. His early life was a masterclass in survival. Before he was a crooner, he was a steel mill laborer, a gas station attendant, a blackjack dealer in illegal casinos, and even a prizefighter known as Kid Crochet. These years in the trenches of Depression-era Ohio gave him a streetwise perspective. He saw life up close, and he decided early on that the only way to survive was to never let anyone see you sweat. He adopted the stage name Dean Martin, borrowing the smooth delivery of Bing Crosby, but adding an outsider confidence that was entirely his own. The Mask of the Lovable Drunk. The most enduring myth of Dean Martin's career was his drinking. In the Rat Pack era and on The Dean Martin Show, he played the part of the perpetually tipsy entertainer to perfection. He slurred his words, leaned on the piano for support, and constantly topped off his glass. "People think I drink all the time," he once remarked. "If they only knew what was really in the glass." While it was often apple juice or tea on stage, the drunk act was a double-edged sword. In his private life, alcohol became a tool for avoidance. It was a way to keep the world at arm's length. He didn't use it to party. He used it to build a wall. A man of infinite distance. Dean Martin was married 3 times and fathered 8 children, yet those closest to him described him as a ghost in his own home. He was a man who recoiled from emotional confrontation. If a conversation got too deep or an argument too heated, Dean would simply walk away. He loved his family, but he was emotionally unreachable. "I'm not good at talking about feelings," he once admitted. "I never was." This emotional reserve created a profound isolation. He was the life of the party in Las Vegas, but he often preferred to eat dinner alone in his room or watch westerns on TV rather than engage with his peers. This trait even strained his legendary friendship with Frank Sinatra. While Sinatra thrived on intensity and control, Dean thrived on detachment. When the tension of the Rat Pack became too much, Dean didn't fight back. He retreated into silence. The breaking point. Dean Paul's death. The darkest chapter of Dean's life began in 1987. His son, Dean Paul Martin, was killed when his Air National Guard jet crashed into a mountain. The king of cool was finally broken. The sparkle in his eyes vanished almost overnight. The man who had spent decades pretending nothing mattered was suddenly confronted with a grief he couldn't walk away from. He withdrew from the spotlight, his humor dulled, and the desire to perform evaporated. He spent his final years as a recluse, a shadow of the man who once dominated the royal time of Hollywood. The final curtain. A lifelong heavy smoker, Dean was diagnosed with lung cancer in 1993. True to his independent and perhaps weary spirit, he refused surgery. He had lived his life on his own terms, and he would face the end the same way. On Christmas Day, 1995, the music stopped. Dean Martin passed away at the age of 78. In a tribute that moved the world, the lights of the Las Vegas Strip were dimmed, a final goodnight to the man who gave the city its soul. He was laid to rest with a simple epitaph: "Everybody loves somebody sometime." Dean Martin's dark side wasn't one of scandal or cruelty. It was the quiet suffering of a man who didn't know how to let anyone in. He was a legend who paid for his effortless image with a lifetime of emotional distance and unspoken grief. What is your favorite Dean Martin memory? Was it his chemistry with Jerry Lewis, his smooth hits like "That's Amore," or his effortless cool in Rio Bravo? Let us know in the comments below. If you were moved by this look at the human being behind the icon, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell notification so you never miss a story from the royal time of Hollywood.